We've reached December here in Season 1 of our realistic Crystal Palace career mode, which means we need to finalize our transfer shortlist as we head into January. And our first order of business will be determining which caliber of player we want to bring in. I've compiled a fairly lengthy shortlist of different players, both experienced and on the younger side. We obviously haven't started the season particularly well, sitting down in 18th position. So Dougie Freedman has a big decision to make in terms of the approach we take in January. We have about 20 million to spend according to Steve Parish. So do we want to spend all of that money on a proven striker, help us score some more goals to get results that we need? Or do we want to spread that investment around some younger talents and look more towards the future of the club? It sounds like Dougie is concerned that we aren't scoring enough goals. He's inclined to prioritize bringing in a striker, maybe not on a permanent deal though, potentially on loan, which would keep some funds available to target some younger talents for the future. And I like that approach. We really haven't been too bad defensively this season. If you take the 7-0 defeat against Manchester United out of the equation, we conceded 2 against Brentford, 2 against West Ham, 1 against Leicester, 1 against Chelsea, 1 against Everton. We conceded 1 against Tottenham, nothing against Liverpool, 1 against Nottingham Forest. We're not shipping goals on a game-to-game basis. However, with only 13 goals scored this season, we're not scoring a huge amount of goals on a game-to-game basis either. However, the only strikers that I currently have on the transfer shortlist are on the younger side. They would take a bit of time to develop. They would not make a huge impact immediately. Somebody that could make an impact immediately, though, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I think between them, Glasner and Freedman have identified a really good target. Calvert-Lewin's not exactly out of favour at Everton, but he has struggled to get his career back on track after a string of injuries. He now has Beto and Dye to compete with in terms of playing time for those forward positions. And not having to commit the £12 million it would take to bring Calvert-Lewin to Crystal Palace will free up some funds for January to bring in some younger players, not only to bolster the squad depth for this year, but also to look ahead to the future. So talks with Everton are set to start in the background for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but in the meantime, I'd be interested to see which positions Dougie Freedman thinks that we should target. And I think I would agree with his evaluation. We need a young winger, a young box-to-box midfielder, then beyond that, potentially a centre-back, a full-back, an attacking midfielder. I would go with a fullback out of those 3. So what we'll be doing is taking a handful of players at particular position, like wide midfield, players like Casey McAteer, like Duranville, like Koleosho. Then at centre midfield, players like Jobe Bellingham, Hugo Larsson, Hayden Hackney, Walter Berger. And then we'll ask Dougie Freedman to rank each of those players by priority of interest. That way, we will get to see which players he's most keen on pursuing. And it does look like he's going to be prioritizing youth most highly. Luka Koleosho, currently the top target in terms of wingers. Duranville second, McAteer, Suleimana following after them. Whilst at centre midfield, he's most interested in Jobe Bellingham. Again, youth first, 18 years old. Hayden Hackney, Tyler Morton follow closely after. So we'll see what kind of magic Dougie can work on the phones ahead of January. But for now, we have a full slate of games in December to focus on, starting with highlights of an away trip to Ipswich. I'll also show you highlights of our trip to the Vitality to take on Bournemouth, whilst our game against Brighton at the Amex will be our featured game of the episode. So that does mean we'll be quick simming all of our home games this month against Manchester City and Arsenal, where we're probably going to be accepting defeat. And then finally, to round out the episode against Southampton, where hopefully we can pick up a result. And Oliver Glasner has made several changes ahead of the Ipswich game, some forced, some by choice. He's chosen to go with a 4-3-2-1 formation for the first time this season. But fatigue in the squad does mean that Roscoe Torres, William Davidson, Will Hughes, Matthias França all start. It was the home side that started the brighter in this one. Dean Henderson immediately being tested at his near post. And it was the same again shortly after, as Daniel Munoz made almost a costly mistake in his own box, failing to clear, instead giving the ball straight to Connor Chaplin. Again, though, Dean Henderson was equal to the effort. And with so many changes to the squad, we were a little disjointed going forward. We did manage to create a handful of opportunities, though. This one a good one for Daichi Kamada on the edge of the box. Couldn't quite get the effort right, though. and it went harmlessly wide of Murich's post. Daniel Munoz almost allowed Ipswich Town to score the first goal of the game in the first half. He almost scored the first goal of the game himself in the second, unleashing a really good strike from the outside of the box with his left foot, forcing Muric into a good save. And William Davidson did the same shortly after, given a bit of space in midfield to drive forward and unleash. And again, he forced a good save from Muric, tipping it over the bar on this occasion. The resulting corner would give us our first goal of the game, though. Daichi Kamada with an excellent delivery. Maxence Lacroix with a towering header. The defender on the line got a lot on it, but could only deflect it into his own goal. Use of a hand in there anyway. And about 10 minutes later, we basically repeated the trick. Kamada's delivery, this time finding Trevor Chalobah in the box. Like Lacroix, he rose highest, and his thundering header made it 2-0 Crystal Palace with about 20 minutes left to play. Unfortunately, that is how the game ended. A little fortunate to come away with the victory, potentially. We didn't exactly dominate Ipswich, but grabbed a couple of set pieces and we made them count. All that matters is that we got the 3 points from this game. Ipswich Town are bottom of the table. We are dangerously close to getting dragged into that relegation fight ourselves. Of course, we were in the relegation zone heading into the game, so the performance not quite as important as the result. And it was the result we were hoping for. And that result does lift us out of the relegation zone, only just though. We've played a game more than Chelsea, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, who all sit just below us. Another 3 points would be incredibly useful as we take on Manchester City at Selhurst Park. Incredibly unlikely though, especially with the 11 that we are fielding. And we only just lose, to be fair. 1-0, Jack Grealish scoring in the 66th minute. We are back to our full strength 11 for the featured game of today's episode against Brighton, with the exception of Tyrick Mitchell, who is still out injured. So Roscoe Torres again starts at left back. And today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Up until now, we have been playing on wing play because I wanted the boosts that you get from the coaching for playing with the tactical preset. However, it's not really been working out. So we're going to go with some custom tactics. So we're going to go back to the 5-2-3 formation. However, we're going to be playing with the counter build-up style rather than balanced. And we are going to be playing with a slightly deeper defensive line. So all the way back at 45, where we've been having to play on 65 to conform with the wing play tactical vision. Playing on custom is also going to allow us to use whatever player roles we see fit. So we're going to have Eze on inside forward. He's going to be cutting inside. Roscoe Torres is going to be making those overlapping runs. Adam Wharton is going to be on box-to-box in the center of the park. Kamada, bit more of a free role in the center of midfield. He's on playmaker and roaming. We can have Eddie Nketiah on poacher. We can have Sarr on winger. Munoz is on wing back. And then we, of course, have our 3 center backs in Chalobah, Gehi and Lacroix. So we might be missing out on those attribute boosts, but I think the flexibility we're going to get from being able to set whatever player roles we want, and the solidity we're going to get from being able to play with a slightly deeper defensive line is going to really serve us well. So without further ado, let's head over to the Amex and see if we can pick up all 3 points against second place Brighton.
Thank you for attending today's game at the Amex Stadium. Enjoy the match.
Just the M23 derby. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. It's also the battle of the two finalists in our first team of FC25 playoff tournament that we ran over the summer to try and determine who we're going to be using here in this first series of FC25. It was Crystal Palace and Brighton, the two teams to make it to the very last round. But it was Crystal Palace who came out victorious. Hence, we are in charge of the Eagles rather than the Seagulls. That's a poor pass from Lacroix early, as Minty tries to get him down the right-hand side. Minty, an interesting player. A lot of pace down the right-hand side might cause an issue for the youngster Roscoe Torres, especially since he is going to be advancing higher up the pitch than Daniel Munoz on the other side. Ismail Assar can't quite get in behind. And ideally, I would have Munoz as the more advanced player in this particular tactical setup. But we desperately want Eberechi Eze on the left-hand side. And we, of course, want him cutting inside onto his right foot. Matoma, just as Matoma is doing. And if we've got Eze cutting in, then we want the wing-back on the same side to be overlapping, really. So that's why we've got Roscoe Torres rather than Daniel Munoz. Daniel Munoz, too, his player role is actually just wing-back rather than attacking wing-back. And here is Roscoe Torres. Eddie Nketiah in the box. Torres finds him. Nketiah with the shot, which Verbruggen parries away. And slightly controversial moment just after, as it looked as though, I think it was potentially Veltman at the back post, kind of chested it back towards Verbruggen, who did collect in both hands. Referee content that Veltman's actions were not intentional, I suppose. Lacroix finds Torres. Wharton just inside him. And there's Roscoe Torres on the overlapping run with Eddie Nketiah at the back post. And there was all kinds of movement on that cross. Unfortunately, the movement took it over the bar and out for a Brighton goal kick. But already we're seeing the impact that Roscoe Torres can make down that left-hand side. He is an adventurous, somewhat swashbuckling wing-back. Good with the ball at his feet. Industrious when he does pick up possession. And here he is once more looking to put a ball into the box. And I think if we can get Dominic Calvert-Lewin over to Selhurst Park, I think he's going to be an ideal target in the penalty area for those kind of overlapping runs and those kind of crosses from the likes of Roscoe Torres. As he prepares to deliver the corner. Daniel Munoz, if we are chasing a game, will be advancing higher up the pitch as well. I think he has been an excellent attacking option for us this season. As Adam Wharton just about collects, and look at the space for Roscoe Torres yet again. This time pulls it back to Eberechi Eze, and this is exactly where we want him. The shot unfortunately goes wide. But this is exactly how I want it to be working down the left-hand side. And this is exactly the advantage of moving away from wing play and moving towards that custom preset. Because we can pick and choose our player roles to fit our squad rather than to fit our tactical preset. I think a lot of the tactical presets don't really make a lot of sense. I feel like they're too restrictive. Because if we're playing wing play, for example, our striker has to be a target forward. Let's not concede after such a good start. And we allow Brighton with their first attack of the game to get in behind and open the scoring. Gruder we saw moments earlier. 2 goals in his last game. He's got another one here. It's poor defensively from Chalobah. Gay beaten all ends up as Gruder cuts inside. And it's a tidy finish. And after such a promising start to the game, we still find ourselves 1-0 down, 17 minutes in. Promising signs in the opening 17 minutes, though. Does give me hope that we can get back into the game if we continue to play as we have been in this opening stage. That's another loose pass, though. And that's a beautiful ball to João Pedro, who has hit the bar. Good Lord, what an effort that was. What a ball up to João Pedro. Dean Henderson came off his line to try and deal with it. Didn't manage to do so. Which left the goal gaping for João Pedro. And that's a really good run. Ismail Assar. Is he onside? He's just offside. That's the perfect run. It's the perfect run in behind from Ismail Assar. And Kamada finds him. He's a yard or 2 off there, though. This tactical system does also get our best players all on the pitch at the same time. And again, it plays to their strengths. That's a poor pass, Roscoe Torres. Mark Gay's going to have to come across and deal with it. He doesn't. Minty inside. What a challenge, Adam Wharton. Another loose pass, Roscoe Torres. Minty with a second chance. And Dean Henderson makes the save. And we are skating on thin ice right now. Promising start to the game, but it's been a pretty disastrous 5 or 10 minutes since. Eze can't win the header. Adam Wharton collects, though. Roscoe Torres advances down the left-hand side. Finds Eze. And Ketia, the ball just behind him. Unfortunate from Eze not to be able to find Nketiah. But we do get Kamada in centre midfield. As well as Eze, as well as Sarr. All in the side in this particular formation. And we do have Kamada on that playmaking role. So he's going to be able to hopefully dictate the play. Hopefully have a bit more of a free role in the centre of midfield with Adam Wharton alongside him. So I think this is going to be our best approach for now. I've been really struggling with the tactics this season. Just can't quite find the perfect approach. And even this approach, what a ball that is from Wharton. Ismail Assar can't find Nketiah. Just lacking a little bit of quality in the final third at the moment. This approach still isn't perfect because, again, we don't get the attribute boosts with the custom... what are they calling it this year? They're not even calling it tactical vision this year, are they? The custom preset, I guess it's called. When you have all of your coaches in the coaching management menu set to the same tactical style, you do get boosts depending on their expertise, depending on their knowledge level. If you get them all gold, you get big boosts to your players. However, that's all very much reduced on custom. You do still get attribute boosts, but it's a level below. What a ball. Nketiah claimed by Verbruggen. Roscoe Torres again causing issues for Brighton. Eddie Nketiah picks up a good position, and again, that's the benefit of being able to play him on poacher rather than forcing him to be on target forward. So on custom, if we have all gold coaches, we get the attribute boosts of all silver. So it's all one level below. We don't currently have all gold coaches, though. We have one gold coach and the rest are silver. So we're currently getting attribute boosts at the silver level in midfield and bronze everywhere else. So we are, of course, going to have to continue to upgrade our coaching and try and get up to all silver at least. But I think if we can get all silver attribute boosts and then have the custom player roles and build-up style that we want, I think that's going to be the best balance. Eze. Also like how Ismail Assar is always staying high up the pitch. We're looking to counter very much so. Torres lays it back for Eze. What a goal! Fantastic combination between, and we've got Eze with the Josh Sargent celebration. I wasn't aware that was something that he did. I just pressed A for Eze's default celebration, and that was it. But what a combination. Ismail Assar down the right-hand side, crosses into Roscoe Torres at the back post, who just nods it into Eberechi Eze, who makes no mistake with the finish, and that was exactly how I want this system to work. Ismail Assar sticking kind of high up the field, right on the toes of the Brighton back line. Roscoe Torres overlapping. Eberechi Eze tucking inside. Beautiful, beautiful goal. Exactly how I want our style of play to look. I don't want us to be quite that high up the pitch either. Good recovery challenge from Chalobah. But we're still getting caught a little bit high. So determining the exact defensive line height that we want is going to be something that we'll need to focus on over the coming games. And potentially also the tactical instructions for the back three. I just currently have them all set to defend. Whether I want one of them set to balanced or even set to stopper rather than just defender, so that they kind of step up and challenge opposing midfielders, we'll have to see. We can also set Gay to ball-playing defender and have him involved in the build-up at various points if we want, but that's the flexibility we have with the custom preset. And I just wanted Eze just to hold his position out wide there. But again, he drifted inside, as we have instructed him to do, to be fair. So 1-1 as we approach the final 5 minutes of the half, and I think Roscoe Torres can get there, which he can. I think we might just settle into our holding tactics for the final 5 minutes of the half. I have also set up additional tactics in this particular team sheet for instances where we want to push for a goal, where we want to just hold on to the ball, where we want to set up to really counter-attack opponents, and for when we want to defend for our lives, basically. So we're looking to just kind of hold at the moment, so it's going to be a little bit more reserved. We're going to sit a little bit deeper, give up possession slightly, and just kind of hold our shape. Adam Wharton pressing in midfield. The primary responsibility for Adam Wharton, really, in this particular system. We can't dispossess Matoma, though. And he continues into the box. Gets a shot away. Eberechi Eze is in some space on this left-hand side. Dean Henderson finds him. Big switch of play is on. And Eze does just about find Ismail Assar, who brings it down on his chest, makes it into the box, pulls it back across goal. Adam Wharton can't quite get there. And the referee's half-time whistle does go, and that's a much, much better performance than we have been seeing in recent episodes. More coherent, more solid, more defined in terms of what we're trying to achieve, both defensively and going forward. So promising signs for sure. Brighton a very, very good side. Second in the league. Joint top, I believe, heading into this game. So the fact that it's 1-1 at half-time, not such a bad thing at all. So back out for the second half here at the Amex. And we are going to shift into our counter tactics for this second half. So like the tactics where we're just looking to hold, this is going to allow Brighton a little bit more possession. We're going to sit back and hold our shape a little more. However, we will look to be springing on the counter-attack when we do dispossess Brighton. It's for exactly these kind of situations where we're not looking to press too hard for a goal, but we certainly could use one. That's really, really good play from Minty. And João Pedro, 3 minutes into the second half, grabs another goal for Brighton. And we've defended so poorly today. Not as a team, but just one-on-one. Minty's just been absolutely destroying us. Leaves Lacroix for dead. Cuts it inside to Gay. João Pedro finishes. And this has been the strength so far this season. Kind of one-on-one defending. When we've been caught out defensively so far this season, it has been the high line. It's been players like Ollie Watkins in the last episode making those kind of peeling runs off the back of the defenders, and the high line leaving us exposed. Today it's just been one-on-one defending. We just haven't been good enough. Roscoe Torres, Eddie Nketiah, first time strike, doesn't get anywhere near enough pace on it. How good has Roscoe Torres been today though? Absolutely unbelievable performance from the left back. Up and down that left-hand side. Can't quite keep it in. Maybe not being incredible defensively against Minty, but really Minty has caused us the biggest issues when he's cut inside, as he's doing so again here. Lacroix gets the better of him on this occasion though. Fortunate for Brighton that the ball falls to them once more. Dean Henderson with the save. We'll try and get a counter-attack started immediately through Daniel Munoz. Kamada been a little bit too quiet today for my liking. Roscoe Torres wants it in behind. Leave it, Eze. I think Eze potentially was offside. Eze does collect, though. Too slow. Far too slow. You've got to release the ball quicker than that. We had options on there inside. Again, it's an excellent run from Roscoe Torres, though. That's a loose pass from Brighton as Ismail Assar collects. Just has to twist and turn to keep possession, though. Munoz finds Gay. We don't have to push too much for another equaliser just yet. We can see how we progress over the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. We have edged possession over the course of the game over Brighton, which is something I didn't necessarily expect. And Adam Wharton again can't put the foot in, and Minty again just absolutely destroying us with the ball at his feet. Matoma the same. And it's now the Brighton left back who cuts inside. And Eze comes away. Cuts inside and looks for Ismail Assar. Just about finds him. Daniel Munoz is the release ball. And what's that pass? What is that pass? It's nowhere close. Such a simple pass. Kind of 15 yards. Nobody in the area. Adam Wharton completely unmarked. And it's nowhere close. Shot from range from Brighton. Fairly wasteful, thankfully. And I think as we approach the hour mark here, right through the legs of Adam Wharton, actually, I think it might be time to make a change or two. No changes just yet for Oliver Glasner, however. But do see some substitutes warming up on the touchline. So changes imminent. Jean-Philippe Mateta to come on. Good run from Eberechi Eze. Kamada, quite enough on the pass, but does just about find Eze, who cuts inside. Beats one, can't beat a second. Would have had an opportunity to shoot from range there, Eze, if he could have just beat that second Brighton defender. And I think it is going to be time to step up into a slightly more aggressive game plan here. Eze once more. There's Kamada. Drives forward. Players over on the left-hand side, one of whom is Roscoe Torres, yet again. Just looking to cross. Comes off the Brighton man and out for a Crystal Palace corner. We'll take that, especially considering what we were able to do against Ipswich Town earlier in the episode. As Jean-Philippe Mateta does come on for Eddie Nketiah. Check Doucouré also replaces Adam Wharton. Nice ball in from Eze, finds Lacroix again. Unfortunately, straight at but for Bruggen. Parries away and Brighton able to hook clear. So we will now push for an equaliser. Bit more of a target in the box now with Jean-Philippe Mateta, who wins the header. Daichi Kamada's going to have to get a shot away quickly. He manages to do so. And it's going to be another Crystal Palace corner. Brighton celebrating as if they've won the game already. Safe from Bart Verbruggen has taken them one step closer to doing so. Ezzy. Equaliser. Big deflection. But I think it's Trevor Chalobah, and it is. I can't imagine he's going to be credited with the goal. But it was his header that forced the Brighton player to try and get in the way of it, because it would have gone in, I think. But a huge deflection off the Brighton man. Potentially it wouldn't. I think that was going wide. And João Pedro just flat-footed it off his thigh and into the roof of the net. We will take it. I don't care how we score. But we have managed to score, and our day may have just got a little easier as we see Minty leaving the field. And I think we'll just sit back in our default game plan for now. The momentum with us potentially. So I don't want to sit back too deep and allow Brighton just to play. But we don't also need to push too hard for a goal either. I would be more than happy with a draw. Especially considering the fact that we've been behind twice in this game. If we can win it, obviously I would love that. I would take a draw though against second place Brighton. Will it fall to Ezzy? Yes, it will. Gets the shot away. Ultimately, it's a harmless one though. Roscoe Torres beats Adingra. And Jean-Philippe Mateta can get in the box. He can, and he nods it on towards Ismaila Sarr at the back post. Sarr can't get there. Neither can Doucouré as he challenges for the ball in the air. Kadioglu attacks down the left-hand side for Brighton. A lot of pace. Too much for Daniel Munoz to cope with. Kamada back in a defensive position, and thankfully the shot is straight at Dean Henderson. Nebret Chiesi again in space. Roscoe Torres again on the overlapping run. And there's not too much on in the box to aim for at the moment. Now there might be. Mateta can't win it. Munoz nods it down to Kamada. Torres once more. We'll take a corner if we can get one, to be honest. It's been one of the more reliable ways we've found the back of the net in recent games. Kamada shaping to shoot, chooses not to. Instead lays it off to, I thought Munoz, but for some reason he left that. Ismaila Sarr pulls it back. Dealt with by Brighton initially. Kadioglu's got a clear though. Danger still not away for Brighton. But they are able to work the ball into the feet of Adingra now. We do have a solid enough defensive shape though. João Pedro. Good challenge from Kamada. Be interested to see who is credited with that fourth goal of the game. Whether it is João Pedro with the own goal, or whether Trevor Chalobah gets a second goal of the episode. Kamada. Munoz. Mateta in the box. Found by Munoz. And what a last-ditch challenge from Lewis Dunk. I was certain we were going to see Mateta turn that ball towards goal. Gruder, a goal scorer for Brighton, comes off to be replaced by Ruter. And again, I think we're going to be making changes shortly, but first Ezzy's going to deliver the corner towards Mateta at the back post. Lacroix wins it. Sarr on the turn. Cleared away by Brighton. Really high level of difficulty on that effort from Ismaila Sarr. But he did so well just to snap, turn and thrust the ball towards goal. Munoz. It's two Brighton attackers rather to deal with. Chalobah eventually provides a bit of help. Gay on the left-hand side. Roscoe Torres. Check Doucouré inside. Wants the ball to go back to Gay, which it does. Trevor Chalobah once more. Brighton pressing high. We work the ball into the feet of Doucouré. Oh, and there's nowhere near enough on that. Nowhere near. Roscoe Torres had taken up a nice little position, just hugging the touchline on the left-hand side. Good challenge. Eberechi Eze just about comes away with it. It's a really good sliding challenge, though. And Eze better not be injured. We've just got him back. We have literally just got him back. If Eze's injured again, I'm going to be absolutely outraged. Kamada. Brighton defenders caught in two minds. Kamada shifts past one. Ismail Assar again trying to burst into the Brighton box. Does so. Mateta's nowhere to be seen, though. Torres is absolutely shattered at this point. No wonder he's been up and down that left-hand side all day. We really do need to make some more changes. The ball's not gone out of play to give us an opportunity, though. Mitoma. João Pedro. Lacroix with a good challenge. And to be honest, I'm tempted to just put the ball out of play. That should give us an opportunity to make a couple more changes, just as Brighton are doing. A Stupinian on for Mitoma. So Brighton potentially settling for a point as we enter the last few minutes of the game. Three changes for Oli Glasner. Davidson, Bronsar and Klein all enter the fray for the final moments of the game. 2 minutes plus stoppage time. We will just sit in and try and hold on to this point. As I said, I would be more than happy with a point from this game. Bronsar taking the ball into the corner. And we will take a corner if we can get one. Decore. Davidson. Chance to shoot from range. Does so! I thought that was going top bins. I thought that was going top bins for a moment. Instead, Verbruggen makes the save. I really like Verbruggen. I think he's one of the more exciting young keepers in the Premier League at the moment. I think he's really good. Decore. Sarr does deliver. Davidson at the back post. Can't quite win the header. Mark Gay. About 2 minutes into 4 of stoppage time. Munoz. Just try and loft the ball into the box one last time if we can. In search of Mateta. Ismail Assar collects. We'll take a corner. Last minute of the game, we will take a corner. I think we will, as we see Davidson's shot once more. 5 saves on the game for Bart Verbruggen, just 22 years old. He's so young and so good already. I don't think we are going to deliver this. I think we're going to go short to check Decore once more. Decore. Ismail Assar delivers. It's Bronsar at the back post this time. And again, space to loft one in. Again, Mateta's at the back post. Again, he can't win the header. Decore challenging for it. There goes the referee's final whistle. And we'll take a point. We'll take a point. We were behind twice, away from home, against a good side who are second in the Premier League. We will take a point. So a couple of disappointing moments that led to the Brighton goals, but other than that, a very, very good performance. I think that might be the best performance we've put in over the course of 90 minutes so far this season. Brighton, not a team to underestimate, and we went toe-to-toe with them for the entire duration of the game. Came away with a point. Of course, though, we simply cannot have nice things. Eberechi Eze has broken his toe again. I think this is back-to-back broken toes for Eberechi Eze. I thought the injury sliders were looking a little more promising this year, but this was the problem that plagued FC24. This is almost the only injury that seemed to exist on that game, and it's coming back to haunt us again in FC25. So a decent enough month so far at the halfway stage. 4 points from our 3 games, and considering we took on Manchester City and Brighton, I don't think we can be too disappointed with that at all. But it's going to be the second half of the month that really dictates how we feel, how well we've done, how poorly we've done. And we do start off the second half of the month with a 2-1 loss against Arsenal. Marino opens the scoring for the away side. Sarr equalises 2 minutes later. And then it's Bukayo Saka in the 89th minute. So close, this close to a point against Arsenal. So we have 2 huge games to finish the episode. First against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Jefferson Lerma comes in for this one. Daichi Kamada shifts out to the left-hand side in place of Eberechi Eze, and Jean-Philippe Mateta starts up front ahead of Eddie Nketiah. And in a big game, we needed a couple of players to step up and have big performances. One player who did just that was Jean-Philippe Mateta. 10 minutes into the game, though, his first shot on goal went just wide of Kepa's post. Daichi Kamada forced Kepa into a save shortly after some good footwork on the edge of the box before unleashing a strike from just outside the penalty area. But it was Jean-Philippe Mateta who would put us 1-0 up about 15 minutes into the game. Adam Wharton recycling the cross, finding Daichi Kamada once more, who just lofted it up towards the near post. Mateta rose highest. Kepa got a solid hand on it, couldn't parry it away from goal. And in the first half that we dominated, really, it was only Kepa that kept Bournemouth in it. This time parrying Jefferson Lerma's shot away. This one would have been another contender for goal of the season had it gone in. But amidst what has been a difficult season so far for Jean-Philippe Mateta, he did get on the score sheet a second time. Mark Gahey dispossessing a Bournemouth defender once more after a corner was recycled. Mateta, first time with his left foot, lifted it into the top corner, above and away from Kepa. Nothing he could do to keep this one out. And in the first half, our lead was doubled. Bournemouth did search for a way back into the game in the second half, and they found it through substitute Justin Kluivert. Philip Billing finding him inside the penalty area. Mark Gahey sagging off slightly. He did get a block on it, but that just took the ball away from Dean Henderson, who likely would have made a comfortable save, and into the back of the net to make it 2-1. Fortunately, we did manage to see out the last 10 or 15 minutes with that 2-1 lead. So we put another win on the board, another 3 points. That's now 7 from today's episode. So a big performance from Mateta and a big result for the club, especially since AFC Bournemouth are sitting just below us in the table. So wins over Ipswich Town and AFC Bournemouth today should hopefully lift us away from that relegation battle for the first time this season. And we do know that Jean-Philippe Mateta is looking to score 20 goals or more in all competitions this season. He has just 4 in the Premier League with those 2 added to his tally. Eddie Nketiah is not doing much better though. He has just 2 goals and 1 assist to his name so far. And this is why we've struggled so much in the Premier League this season. We've been decent defensively. We just can't put the ball in the back of the net. Hopefully that's going to continue to change going forward though. And hopefully we can put the ball in the back of the net a couple more times in the final game, not just of today's episode, but of the calendar year, as Oliver Glasner goes with an unchanged 11 as we take on Southampton at Selhurst Park. And we don't manage to come away with all 3 points, but we do manage a draw. Ismail Assar opens the scoring 18 minutes in. Smallbone equalises for Southampton shortly after. So disappointing that we couldn't come away with the victory, but that point does make it 8 in total for the month. 6 games, so 18 points total. And 8 of 18 doesn't sound like a great return, but 6 of those points were against Arsenal and Manchester City. We're just not going to come away with points from either of those 2 games. So if we think about it as 8 points from 12, we've got to be more than happy with that tally for this season, especially since we got key victories over 2 teams just below us in the table and who are going to be around the relegation zone, somewhere we really don't want to be come the end of the season. And that point does lift us all the way up to 14th place in the Premier League. So I think we have to be more than happy with what we managed to get done in today's episode to round out the year. And of course, we can expect some reinforcements in January to hopefully kick on and push us into the top half of the table. Brighton, 3rd position. What a point that could turn out to be come the end of the season. So I've said it before and I've been wrong, but I will say it again. Hopefully some momentum starting to build now. Hopefully we get Dominic Calvert-Lewin through the door next month. Potentially 1 or 2 of those young players that Dougie Friedman picked out for us as well. And hopefully we can kick on, get a top 10 finish, hopefully keep hold of Mark Gahey and or Eberechi Eze, and really start to build something here at Selhurst Park next season. So we will get to January and the opening transfer window and a new slate of games in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.